and you need to create the action plan before you're in depression. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Kimberly Ojo. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on my video and joining my internet space tonight. This is my son Prince. Mwah. We're going to be talking to you guys about depression. So the first thing I want to talk about is what we're going to cover today: symptoms of recognizing your triggers and making an action plan, support, and then some other resources that I think can really help you guys when it comes to managing depression or how to deal with depression, especially for Black women. Now, I do highly recommend going to a therapist, because your therapist can definitely help you in determining whether or not you are dealing with depression or you have been diagnosed with depression, and that way you can better treat yourself. So you would definitely notice things like a decline in energy, a decline in interest of things that you used to really love. You don't really love it anymore. You would be doing a lot of crying, maybe. Your personal hygiene is not where it used to be or where it should be. Isolation, being sad all the time. The typical things people think about when you think about someone who's depressed. Some people describe them as being lazy, but when you're depressed, please don't use that term, lazy, because depressed people are not lazy. And then some of the not so easy things to recognize or to pick up as a symptom of depression is short temper, being very angry and very short with people for no apparent reason, excessive spending. So those are some of the not so easy things to recognize, because people are thinking, oh, she's mad about something. If she's angry, she's short tempered, that's just her personality. Or things like that. So some of those things are not so easy to recognize as being a symptom of depression, but it can be. It's not always the case, but the triggers. Again, a therapist would definitely help you with recognizing your personal triggers if you're having a hard time, recognizing them yourself. It took me a long time to really recognize my triggers, and I'm still learning them because they kind of change over time. Could be linked to past traumatic events, social events, a certain time of year, certain places that may trigger them, certain things like tangible things like type of jewelry, a color. A lot of different things can trigger you. A certain time of the year, like if it's Christmas time and there's a lot of family members around that have caused some sort of issue for you in your past, and now it's Christmas time again, and maybe that person is nowhere to be found, but you associate this time of year with that particular person or that particular bad event in your life, and that could be a trigger that can make you spiral downwards into a deep depression. So sometimes a certain day of the week, like for me, weekends is probably the toughest because there's no accountability for me. There's a lot of different triggers, and your therapist will definitely help you to narrow down what your triggers may be. But once you figure out those two things, your symptoms, your triggers, you can then formulate an action plan. Again, a therapist is going to help you with formulating your action plan. An action plan is pretty much like a plan that's written out for you to follow whenever you feel yourself getting into these depression style symptoms. So when you feel it coming on, what are you going to do to combat that feeling and combat falling into a deep depression? What are you going to do to kind of bring yourself out of it? And especially as a Black woman, because we tend to kind of overlook a lot of things. We tend to kind of say, okay, maybe tomorrow will be better, or this is just a part of life. We as Black women just take on so much pressure and so much responsibilities of other people before we even deal with ourselves. And sometimes it can be very difficult to just say, this is what I need to do for me. And the first few things on my action plan is usually working out, doing something active to give me energy. So it could be something as simple as just walking around the block. You know, just something to get your body moving, your heart rate up, and turning off the TV. That has to happen for me, because I could sit and binge watch TV shows and just feed into my depression and just stay on the couch or stay in bed watching TV. Sometimes it's turning off my cell phone. It's calling me, they're texting me, and it's causing me more stress. So I turn my phone off. I'm not answering my phone. I'm not, picking up any text. I'm not responding to any text messages. I'm going to focus on getting myself back to where I need to be. And sometimes people don't understand that, and that's okay if they don't understand it, because this is about you. This is your self-care. Another thing is just talking about it. Sometimes talking about it helps me to talk myself through it and see that, okay, this is not so bad, or whatever it is that I feel like is a trigger is not so bad, or, that I have a lot to live for. And you want to be talking to somebody who's going to motivate you and who's going to understand you, who's not going to downplay your illness. That's so important. And you need to create the action plan before you're in depression. Don't try to wait until you're in a depressed state to try to create an action plan. Oh gosh, what am I going to do to get this feeling taken away from me? Wait till you're like this and you're energetic and you have a lot going on and you're very optimistic about life and you're good, and then create your action plan when you're well. Because it's going to be hard to create it while you're in that depressed state. It's just not going to work for you. But then there's also some other ways to help yourself. I listened to a podcast called Therapy for Black Girls. I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the things that kind of helped me get recognize a lot of things in between therapy sessions. People that I follow on social media that put out, really inspirational messages, inspirational memes. I make sure that they are, those type of people are heavy on my social media page. So when I'm strolling through my timeline, I am seeing, more positive things than negative things. Also, different organizations will have support groups where you can attend a session, and it definitely helps to build up your self-esteem when it comes to this illness. You want people around you who understand you, who can relate to you, who can definitely help you with tips and tricks that they've used to come out of their depressed states. Other resources, definitely check out your HR department at your job. If you do have a large HR department that does encompass mental health for their employees, you can go to them for other resources. They may even be able to recommend therapies or therapists in your area, support groups in your area. They may also be able to recommend doctors or psychiatrists that can help with medication, helping yourself to come out of this type of depressed state with medication, which I've used in the past. I definitely don't down medication. I don't like taking medication, but sometimes it is very much needed. So I'm a big supporter of that. Also, your medical doctor can also link you to other psychiatrists, therapists, support groups, other health benefits, like the foods you eat. The foods you eat definitely do play a big part in your depression. Types of exercises you can do to help with depression. So definitely make sure you're talking to your doctor about the symptoms that you're having as well. Also, Department of Social Services sometimes offer free therapy sessions. They have programs where if you're low income and things of that nature, you can definitely still benefit from getting help that you need. Also, the library, check out books if you are someone who likes to read, which I know reading is kind of a rare thing these days, but reading is definitely fundamental. Go to the library, check out some books on depression, books on mental health, and just read up on your particular illness to see how you can self-help. With all that being said, if you do have any other things that you want to add to this list of, ways to deal with depression for the Black woman, definitely leave your comments below. I always love knowing when you guys are here. And I got a lot of things going on up here that I need to get out into the world. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on my next video. Bye. You gonna go to sleep? You're not sleepy? No. I don't think they want any. You guys want some chips? Comment below.